Hi everyone. Today we're going to learn about the different parts of a leaf, and we're going to get a little creative and make an interactive craft. So the supplies that we're going to need is paper. I'm using green paper. If you don't have any green paper, you could always color a piece of paper green. I'm using a skewer here. This might be the toughest thing to find, so you might not be able to do it right off the bat, but if you look around or keep an eye out, you might find one. Maybe if you get some kind of chicken on here, if you like city chicken, you could pull that off of. Love city chicken. It's not really chicken. We're gonna need a pipe cleaner or two, depending on how many you want to make. A pencil you will need, and you're gonna need some scissors. Mine are falling apart, so hopefully yours are better than mine. And I'm gonna use a Sharpie marker also, and you'll see why. It'll make the lines more clear. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to sketch out what my leaf is going to look like. And I'm going to try and move my camera down a bit so you can see my messy desk. I'm going to do this in pencil first. That way, if I mess up, I can erase it. If I do it in a marker, I won't be able to. So I'm just going to sketch out my leaf right here. I don't know. You can sort of see the line. You can make it any shape you want, but I'm going more basic to start. So I'll hold it up. There's my leaf. And I want to just go over some of the parts of it before I cut it out. The side of the leaf here, this is called the margin. So the side of the leaf is known as the margin. Still working on this camera angle. The top of it, you may have guessed, is just called the tip of the leaf. Now that middle part, it's really thick, going all the way to the top there. That middle part of the leaf is called the midrib. Midrib. I'm going to write midrib right here before I leave. And then coming out of the midrib, you'll see the veins. That area that's not the veins, it's not the margin, in between here, this area here, the green part, this is called the lamina, and I'm going to put it right here. So the area right inside, this is the lamina of the leaf. Right in here. So what we're going to make today is we're going to make a caterpillar eating this leaf. So we know a little bit more about the parts of the leaf. A caterpillar is what's going to eat it up. So I'm going to take my broken scissors here. I have better ones, it's just these are close at hand. And I'm going to cut out my leaf. I'm also going to hold on to my scraps, and you'll see why. I like to turn the paper as I cut. I think it makes it a smoother angle. I brought extra paper just in case I messed up, which there's still time. That's possible. So I've got my scraps here, and I've got my skewer. What I'm going to do with my scraps is I'm going to cut a strip about 1 inch thick. I kind of eyed it up, about that thick, maybe a little bit more than 1 inch. one other supply that I forgot to mention was glue. So I'm going to use hot glue just because I want to do this a little bit quicker. If you have Elmer's glue, like the white glue like that, that'll be fine. But hot glue tends to work a little quicker and short on time. That's what I want to use today. So I have my piece of paper right like this. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to roll it into a tight tube here. And this is where I'm going to put my skewer through. I'm going to try and make mine a little bit smaller. This is where the patience comes in. And I may have even cut it a little too wide. I don't think I need all this extra paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it, but it's about that wide. I'm just going to take my hot glue gun that I have hooked up. Tiny, tiny amount. That's all I need. Got my little dots right there. Careful not to burn yourself like I usually do. And the little strings I'm just going to pull off, and with my broken scissors, trimmed off the extra. So now I can put my skewer right through my tube. Now what I'm going to do next is I've got my leaf here and I've got my skewer. I'm going to take my tube that I just made, I'm going to position it right on my midrib, the middle part of the leaf. I'm going to have a little bit showing at the bottom. And I'm going to use my hot glue and glue it towards the bottom right there. So even the same two dots that I put right here and right there, I'm going to put kind of as a guidepost. One and two. It's not heavy duty. I don't need to put a whole lot. And what I think I might do is just push it down. I think I want to add a little bit of color to it, so this is totally optional before I get any farther. To make it more leaf-like, I'm going over in another green down my midrib. I'm going to make the veins green also. I may decide to erase that, but I kind of like it on there right now. And you can make the veins any way you want. I'm just kind of freehand drawing them. This middle part we said was the lamina right here. These are our veins. The tip is the top, and the margin was the outside there. It also helps to think of like the margins of your page. I'm going to go with a brown fuzzy worm. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my skewer right through, and I'm going to line up where I want to put my worm on here. This seems like it could be long, so I may trim my worm a little bit. So I'm thinking if I put him here Another optional thing that you could add on to your worm would be some googly eyes. Now this might be something you might have from another project. If you're done and over with it, you might not have it readily available. Now, googly eyes are totally optional, but I think it does make it look a little bit better. I realize you might not have these, but sometimes you can find them at the Dollar Tree or Walmart. And they're just good to have for all kinds of projects or crafts that you might want to make at home. So again, be extremely careful with your glue. I don't need a lot. I'm putting the tiniest dab on. Always with the hot glue gun, make sure you have an adult nearby, at least in the kitchen if you're in the dining room, somewhere semi-close. Push on his eyes a little bit there. Now, my worm, as long as I didn't glue him to the paper, and it looks like a little bit of glue did touch the paper there. I pulled it off. We can make him inch along our leaf here. And you could make him talk. You could have him talk to you about the different parts of the leaf. You can look up and see what do the veins do. Tell me more about the tip or the lamina. How does the midrib work? And you could get a hole punch, which this is actually for making holes in leather, and make it look like he took some bites or she took some bites out of the leaf. If you don't have anything fancy like this, I don't blame you. You could always try an extremely sharp pencil and poke some holes. And I think the best way to make the holes is just kind of random, this way or that. You could have it go off of the margin here. So that it totally looks like your worm ate part of the leaf. Thanks so much for checking out this idea. You could look up different kinds of leaves. It doesn't have to be exactly like what Mr. Keir put. I know that the leaves are falling now. You could do a leaf rubbing and use that rubbing as the basis for your leaf. I think that would be really cool. Leaves that you find in your own yard more than just this random one that I picked to make. So it doesn't have to be exactly like this. It could be a fall colored leaf that is orange or red. Make it whatever you want to, as long as you're having fun, you're learning more about leaves, and have it be more interactive. This will be a great gift for a younger brother or sister, at least for 5 minutes until they get bored of it. But thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you soon.